To prepare for this 24-hour vigil, Mike Johnson spent weeks on the strangest stakeout of his career. His target? An Area 51 employee who will talk for the first time about life on the base.
It's mind-boggling from my perspective as an investigator how well maintained the secrecy of this facility is.
The first step, how many people work there, and how do they get to the remote desert base? Area 51 is located 140 desolate miles north of Las Vegas. For years, it's been whispered that a secret airline shuttles hundreds of Area 51 employees every weekday from their homes near Las Vegas to their classified jobs on the base. The name? Janet Air. Legend has it that JANET stands for just another non-existent terminal. Whatever it's called, there's no doubt now that the airline is real.
Over here is the McCarran International Airport, and the Janet Terminal is on the west edge of the airport property.
This secret site is just a few blocks from the Las Vegas Strip.
The only indication of where you're at all is the signs that say warning, secure facility, or no trespassing. There are no overt indications of what this facility is. It's what we refer to as hiding in plain sight.
During his stakeout, the first thing he notices is something that Janet airplanes don't have.
There is no identifying markings on those aircraft with the exception of the tail number. All aircraft have a tail number with the exception of military aircraft, which would indicate to me that they are privately held aircraft.
Using his investigative skills to run down the tail number, Mike knows these planes are owned by EG&G, a huge government contractor.
One of the Janet flights just loaded up, moved out onto the tarmac, and should be taking off here any second. They typically don't leave them in the holding pattern too terribly long. They get him out onto the active runway and get him out of here pretty lickety split.
Every day, hundreds of men and women pass through these gates on their way to work at Area 51.
We're seeing a car go in now. The guard just stepped out. This driver's going to display some form of identification, and the guard's trying to figure out what I'm doing, and he's watching me watching him.
Mike is on public property, but he still has reason to worry. The guard hasn't taken his eyes off Mike's car.
These people are your average middle class, upper middle class folks. They're your next door neighbor, the parents of your children's best friend. They just happen to have a super secret job. We'll see what happens here, and then go knock on the door.
Do the answers to Mike's questions lie behind this door? What secrets will his hard work reveal?
My name's Mike Johnson. I'm an investigator. You're not in any trouble whatsoever, but one of your vehicles has been seen going in and out of the Janet terminal, and we were hoping we could talk to you about Area 51. No comment. And the door closed, and that was that. From the reaction, I'm pretty confident he works there, and that's where we're at. He's not going to talk about it.
The government's strict secrecy policies prove a formidable obstacle. But Mike's patient and more determined than ever to find someone who will talk to him.
I am going to have to do some substantial digging to identify a disgruntled type employee that's willing to talk or even acknowledge their participation with Area 51.
Back in Las Vegas, Mike Johnson's search for an Area 51 insider is picking up steam. A tip from an inside source has brought Mike to this nondescript hotel. If his information is correct, waiting upstairs to speak with him is a former employee of Area 51.
I worked at Area 51 for approximately 14 years, and through the 1980s and the early part of the 1990s.
Success. The man is apparently willing to talk, but only if his name is not used, his face hidden, and his voice disguised.
Lives were put at risk, careers were jeopardized or terminated just to keep the nature of this place secret.
Mike spent hours and hours staking out Area 51's commuter airline, Janet Air. Here's someone who flew it 5 days a week.
After you'd arrived at McCarran, you were to go park your vehicle, walk inside the terminal where you would surrender your baggage to ensure that you weren't carrying any tape recorders, cameras, things of that nature.
Mr. X confirms the accuracy of Chuck Clark's satellite 3D model. This is the base he worked on.
That is absolutely correct. Absolutely right.
Mr. X says fear, more than anything, pervades every aspect of life and work on the base.
Security for the personnel was far greater than what you see on the outside. If you made a call home, you had to be very careful as to what you said to your wife or your children, as to divulge where you might be, when you might be coming home, what method of travel you might use.
What sort of work warrants this kind of secrecy and security?
It's a test facility for experimental aircraft.
Okay.
Simple as that. The United States has projects that are deemed classified for one reason or another, and they are tested and proven at that particular location.
But Mr. X says Area 51 is unlike any other Air Force base.
It's an Air Force separate from the normal Air Force, absolutely. And the attitude of the individuals up there is, yes, we are not the regular Air Force. We're somewhat above the regular Air Force.
He says those who run Area 51 regularly risk the lives of their own workers.
Absolute power is true, corrupts absolutely. And these individuals up there are definitely operating, like the apocalypse now, operating without any decent human restraint. They're on their own mission.
Moreover, Mr. X says anyone who challenges that mission is dealt with swiftly.
This individual that I knew expressed grave concerns over personnel being exposed to toxic chemicals, hazardous waste, if you will. He was told that basically the project was behind the curve. They needed to expedite its completion, and that kind of information would be kept from those personnel. And when he challenged that, he was dismissed, removed from the base.
Mr. X is well aware of the risks of talking, but he says that unless the truth comes out, corruption could very well destroy the base's very real military functions.
I think there should be a congressional investigation of the place.